affiliated with organised religion.
Which one?
I've lived a world.
Why are you so reluctant to say which religion?
No, you watch the film Life of Pi, yeah?
Yeah, but forget
Life
films.
of Pi.
I think you shouldn't be living in the Hollywood world. Come to reality.
Yeah.
Which religion were you associated with?
Okay, so I've dabbled with many different ones, okay?
Your parents, what did your parents...
I see the same game played in all of them, and I see the devil sitting inside all of them now.
What religion did your parents follow?
I was brought up Hindu.
Hindu, okay, so say so. There's nothing wrong in that, okay? No need to be shy. I know there aren't many Hindus in Speakerscorner, okay? I know you mentioned the Injil, you mentioned the Quran, you mentioned the Torah, but you never mentioned the Bhagavad Gita. Or the Ramayana, or the Mahabharata.
Because I found, no, that's right.
Why is that?
Because of
the Vedas.
Creature worship.
Say again?
Creature worship?
Which
meaning, a monkey god, and then you had the elephant god, and so on and so on, and so many gods. Well, I didn't know which one to worship.
Okay, so you were confused about that.
Creature worship.
What is Satan in Hinduism? What is it called?
Right, so this is where for the sake of brevity, like there's the Shiva the Destroyer, you've got Kali Mama. See, this is where I see the devil obscured within many different gods. And
in Hinduism?
In all religions, actually, I find that he's
the Abrahamic
made himself a god.
The Abrahamic faiths do not believe that. They believe in one God, not many gods.
And that's
in Abrahamic faith, they do not believe that Satan is made God. In fact, he was actually booted out of paradise.
I agree.
Yes. So he wasn't even aspiring to be God, because he already acknowledged that he's a creation and he's got no power, nowhere near God. Because he, in fact, asked God in Islam, when he actually misled Adam and Eve, he asked God to give him life until the end of time. Yes, until the Qiyamah at least, until the end, so that he can deceive people. And Allah accepted that challenge from him. He said that those people who are true to their belief, they will not listen to you regardless of what fitna or what mischief that you bring upon them. Yes, so they will stay true to their belief and they will believe in God regardless of your mischief. And the Satan actually said, yes, I will take many of them away. So I don't know, maybe in Hinduism it might be a bit different. What do you call Satan in Hinduism? What is his name, his avatar? What is it? Does he have one?
Well, this is what I mentioned. Like he comes as Shiva, Kali Mama.
So you think Shiva came as a Satan?
Well, this is it. She's Shiva the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, when you're in Hinduism, we're taught that it's a god that is a lot.
Of course, yeah. You do believe it.
But when you look into and you see all the heads and the gruesomeness.
Well, he's a destroyer, right?
Yeah.
The clue is there.
Yeah.
Things have to be destroyed, don't they?
Yeah, everything gets destroyed one day.
And in such a...
So it's not really considered like an evil thing. It's a part of the role of reality.
Well, not necessarily, because when you see the image, you see all the heads, you've seen the depictions. It's gruesome of a chopped head, in his hand, and, the sword.
Trust me, if you read Revelation in the Bible, and you will see Jesus, a sword coming out from his mouth, yes, and he'll be wearing robes of blood, crimson, red, depicting blood, and he will make all his enemies his footstools. You will say the same thing like Shiva the Destroyer.
Right, but this is symbolic. It's not to be taken.
No. They wouldn't say symbolic. Jesus literally will meet judgment upon the people, and he will rule for 1,000 years with an iron rod.
Right, so the sword is the word of God. See, this is interesting. See,
not according to the Christians. Ask them.
I know.
Because they know about the judgment day. They'll bring judgment. Jesus will bring judgment upon his religion.
Because we have to take religious lens off. They're making God look bad. They're teaching, like, for example, your religion, how there's a torture and hellfire, where it means it's just a common grave. Hades, Sheol. You're making God, like the church, look evil, like Jesus, like he needs a sword.
How would you define evil? How do you define evil?
Right, evil, torture is evil.
Torture is evil.
It is evil.
Is killing evil?
Right. No.
Killing. Is
so
killing?
death penalty is it?
No, I'm not going to go with that. I'm talking
No, you
about.
said torture. I don't
I'm
remember.
saying killing.
No, you said torture.
But you can torture up to the death point, but not killing. You know what I mean?
But he said torture.
Like the slave in Exodus 20:21.
You asked what
21,
he said torture.
Do you think there are wars which are justified?
Absolutely not. If everyone lives
Absolutely
by
not.
Christ's
Wow.
principles, and
But are you a Christian?
okay, this is
Make up
where
your
it
mind.
gets-
It looks like you're all over the place.
No, okay, I'll tell you outright. The Bible is true, I believe. Okay, there is the one only.
Do you believe
true
Jesus is God?
Right, this is what I'm coming to.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is the only one true God.
And who is that?
Of Abraham, of Noah, which, as you mentioned, like you call him Allah, which means God. But I found his name to be like the Tetragrammaton. You know, Yehovah, Yahweh, Jehovah, which is separate to Jesus. There is
Okay.
only one true God, and I'm in agreement with you.
Right. So what do you make of those Yahweh killing all those people and asking Moses to destroy every male, every female, every infant, and just to keep the little girls who haven't slept with anyone? That means the virgin girls. What do you make of that? This is a direct command.
Right.
If you were a Trinitarian, it is a command from Jesus. If you believe in Yahweh, that is a command from Yahweh.
He's saying he's a Unitarian.
Well, I don't know where he is. He seems to be all over
I
the place.
can't hear you.
Are you
Mark.
saying a Unitarian?
Unitarian.
Okay, I don't like to use this is the problem with labels is you get put into a label box. In God's eyes, there is no labels. There is no, you are a Christian, because then there's division, as we've seen, division amongst.
Identifying people is a very important aspect of a human society. Okay?
Male, female.
No. It's not just male and female. You will have an identity crisis if you do not identify yourself with a certain culture or with a certain people, because we as human beings, we live in a society.
I agree.
We don't live in a cave by ourselves. You see what I mean? So do not have an identity crisis by saying that labels are not important. Labels are pretty important.
Yeah, we can use
Let's get
labels.
back to the
Yeah,
question I asked.
yes.
What do you make of that atrocities that Yahweh has advocated in the Old
Going
Testament?
back to even the previous, questions we were talking about.
But I'm more interested in this specific question.
Yeah.
By the way, are you aware of these atrocities that Yahweh, which you believe as the only true God,
Right.
has advocated in the Old Testament?
Has what? Sorry.
Advocated
Advocated.
Yes.
And what does that mean? Sorry, advocate.
means he's the one who sanctioned it.
Okay, and
You want me to explain sanction as
repeat.
well?
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry. No. And can you repeat what he advocated?
Okay, so Moses' time,
Yeah.
there was actually a people called the Midianites. By the way, Moses' wife was a Midianite,
Yes.
so he married a Midianite. Now God instructed him, he sanctioned the killing of the Midianites. Everyone, every male, every female, every child, except for the girls who have not slept with another man. Okay? This was an injunction that Moses had to follow.
Okay.
What do you make of that?
Okay.
And he did follow it, by the way,
Okay,
according to the Bible.
Again, it is very connected to what we were talking about before, whether God allows torture and whether hellfire is a place of torment, or whether hellfire is what it translates as, which is Hades and Sheol, meaning common grave.
By the way, Hades is not hell. There's a difference. We'll come to that later.
Okay, fine.
But let's
fine.
keep things in
And
perspective.
as I
here.
mentioned, like America has the death penalty, okay, which I feel there's a justification if there's, humane, if it's in a humane way, and there is, if the criminal, if it's justified for the death penalty. But when it comes to torture, like there's that prison in South America, is it called
Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah.
Guantanamo Bay.
There's criminals there, and
By the way, would you not consider the electric chair to be torture?
yeah,
That was
so
pretty
that's why I
torturous
had
to
to
me.
clarify it has to be a humane way.
But I didn't ask you about torture. I asked you about the atrocities that the God that you believe to be the only true God has sanctioned
I can't-
other human beings to
your
commit.
God is the same as my God. As we clarified before, we both believe in the same one God of Abraham and of Noah, and I believe in the same God as you. You call him Allah, which just means God, right?
So it means it's his name.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean just God.
It's a title, isn't it?
Yeah, it means the only God worthy of worship.
Okay.
And by the way, the term Allah is quite unique. You cannot use it for false God. So unlike Elohim, which you can use for false gods,
And Yahweh.
and for angels, and for humans,
And Yahweh.
yeah, I think Yahweh is more unique, yeah, in the sense that they only use it for the true God. However, the term Yahweh is not mentioned in the New
Is
Testament.
Allah Yahweh?
No,
For the reason
not
why
based on the attributes.
The Old Testament God is
Yeah,
not
based on the attributes in the Old Testament. For example, it says in Genesis 6:6 that God regretted the creation of you, me, and all human beings, according to Genesis 6:6.
So the God.
Just one second, brother. So let's get back to the question about, because you earlier said before you said you said you do not believe in killing. In fact, you didn't even believe in war. You did not believe in torturing. Okay, look, I will
clarify. I need to clarify.
I will take on board. If all of those were unjustified, then yes.
Just war. Look.
Oh, now you believe in a just war?
Well, God is sovereign. God is sovereign.
God is sovereign, yes, but He wouldn't instruct injustice to people,
No,
because that is exactly what. Would you in any way, shape, or form condone the killing of infants in any context?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
Of course not.
But that's exactly what Yahweh instructed Moses to do, and Saul to do.
But what I want to say is,
in regard to Yahoo. What did Allah Yahoo?
That's a search engine.
Yahoo.
Jacob.
No.
What do you mean? Yahoo.
Job.
Job.
Yahoo.
Oh, are you
Oh, sorry. I was so
Yahoo?
far
I
off.
wonder what was.
So far off.
That's okay.
More or less said that.
What about Job?
So did Allah sanction the destruction of his life, the taking away of all of the things that he was in his
Yes,
life?
as a test.
No. Step by step. So he sanctioned effectively the torture of Job.
Well, that was a disease that he had, okay? And we know that every disease, okay, is something that is a test for the people in a way. So, by the way, you know that that was actually one of the things that is also mentioned in the Bible, that God is, against Satan is challenging God, that this man, Job, who is very righteous to you, the only reason he's righteous is because you, God, has given him all these bounties. Then you have given him children, you have given him wives, given him wealth. But if all this is taken away, then he will stop believing in God. So that was a challenge by Satan
and Allah,
to God Almighty.
and Allah.
And God said, no, that will not happen.
So we've got Allah and Satan working together to test out poor old Job, who has done his best in his faith and belief, and God.
No, wait, what do you mean working together?
Well,
They were against.
No. They're working together.
They're not working together.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you guys to chat anyway. No,
but I really wanted to answer about atrocities.
I will answer it right now.
The killing of children in particular.
Yeah.
You know, it's mentioned several times by Yahweh to kill children in the Old Testament.
Sure.
What do you make of that?
We have the same God, so we
No,
both
we
have
don't.
to justify
We don't
this.
actually.
We do.
No, we don't believe in the Bible that you get your information about God from.
But don't you guys study the Injil, the Torah?
No, we don't have to.
But one
In
of your
fact, the
pillars
Quran-
of your faith, isn't it?
Oh, we have to believe that they were revealed to certain prophets, but we don't have to read them. That's not something which is
So one of the pillars of the faith was
to believe in them. That's all.
to believe
Yes.
in the Injil.
Allah says, "Amana billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawmil akhir." Wa kutubihi means to believe in His books, to believe in Allah, to believe in the angels, to believe in the books, to believe in the prophets,
Okay, so if
and
you're
believe in the life after
in
death.
it, then you would believe in these wars or these atrocities.
No. There's a big difference. So I can believe that Moses taught the Torah, but the Quran also tells us that whatever that the Jewish people were supposed to God, they actually failed in that, and they changed words of God and they sold it for a measly price.
Okay, so if it was
So we believe that the Quran tells us that everything else is now irrelevant after the revelation of the Quran. So for us, all those books in the past are irrelevant for
illogical.
Why?
And the reason being is if Allah has asked you as a pillar of your faith to believe in that, even asked Muhammad, I believe, Muhammad was asked to go to the books before thee and the prophets for truth.
No, read the verse after that. It says the Quran is al-Muhaymin. So the Quran is the one which decides. From the Quran we decide what is in the Old Testament and the New Testament that we have to believe and what we have to filter out. So the Quran is al-Muhaymin. The Quran is our filter basically.
Yeah.
But you're still evading the answer, the question that I asked you. You have already admitted that you would never condone the killing of children. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
And you wouldn't. And
yes,
no one,
I wouldn't.
Most people wouldn't.
But in your Bible, God tells Moses to do it. What do you make of that?
Right, but I'll go back to the same.
My argument is the Torah that you believe, which says to kill children, is corrupted. That's my argument. Simple as that. In fact, I get my argument from the Quran. Chapter 2, verse 79 says this.
But that's my problem, that you guys, you can't just cherry pick and say, well...
We are not cherry picking. We are using the Quran as a criteria. What do you mean cherry pick? Cherry pick means I use my desire to pick what I like and to discard what I don't. You're still evading the question I asked you. Why does... By the way, you do not believe in the Torah because I as a Muslim reject it or accept it. So that's irrelevant. You believe in the Torah on the merit of the Torah itself. Am I right?
Yes.
Nothing to do with the Quran.
No.
Okay, so or my belief or disbelief. Correct. So why don't you answer the question based on the merit of the Bible? Do you believe God sanctioned the killing of Bible? What was the answer?
Very clear that God is a God of love. He does not torture. Okay.
Killing of children? Well, what? Where's the answer to that?
Well, this is... I cannot answer that. I cannot.
Do you condemn it or do you condone it?
Well,
the killing of children. By the way, it wasn't just one child. It was a mass massacre of children.
No,
you know how many thousand girls they collected during the time of Moses when God sanctioned that?
Right.
Kill everyone except the virgin girls, except the girls who haven't slept with anyone. They collected 30,000. Sorry, 30 to 32,000. Yes, and I don't know how the soldiers were able to tell who slept and who did not, who was a virgin.
Right.
You know how I assume they did that? By the age. Because at that time they used to get married at quite an early age. So anyone under 12 or 14, they would actually
just... Shall I just be frank with you?
Yeah, go on.
I don't want to get into that subject because...
Why? Because it's something that you believe in, but you're not willing to even condemn it?
No, I've already...
Do you condemn killing of children in the Bible or not?
I've said no so many times already.
No, in the Bible. Do you condemn the killing of children in the Bible? Well, go on. Why are you reluctant now?
I cannot,
because you said earlier... Yeah. In fact, you said it without hesitation when I asked you, would you condone the killing of children in any context? And you said, of course not. So this was without hesitation. But what I feel now is because now that you have already admitted that you believe in the Bible, in the Old Testament at least, and you believe Yahweh is the only true God, but this only true God which you believe in, it's calling for the targeted killing of babies, mass massacre of babies.
Okay.
You will not find like this in the Quran or the Hadith.
Yeah,
the targeting of
babies.
specific
I didn't want to argue on that point because, as I've mentioned, I wanted what we are.
The reason you didn't want to mention it because you don't have an answer to that from the context of the Bible. If you were true to your principles, you would, without hesitating, like the way you did the first time, you would say, yes, I condemn it. But now it's come to... You know, earlier when the two of you were having a discussion and you were talking about organized religions and so on, and then they have cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
In fact, you have cognitive dissonance now.
Okay, well, that's
you suffer from that.
Well, it's your opinion. In fact, I think we all do to a certain extent.
Actually, speak for yourself. Okay. Because if you ask me to justify something which I hold as a principle to be unjust, then I would agree with you that what you're saying is true. But since you haven't...
I have agreed with you.
What? Have you agreed that the Bible calls for mass massacre of children is condemned?
Okay, as I've mentioned, I didn't want to get into that subject because it is the same God.
No, it's not. You keep saying that. It's not. Even though I believe that we all are created,
the same
of
God.
course, we all are created by one true God, okay? But the way God has been depicted in the Bible is unlike Allah. Okay, so Allah doesn't regret creating human beings.
The reason
Yahweh does
the
in the
reason why I
Bible.
didn't want to get into
Genesis
that
6:6.
was it is rather complicated.
It's not. It's very simple. Killing of children, my friend.
Oh, well,
Which you, like
which is
that,
wrong, of course.
disagreed with me. Exactly.
yeah,
but when I asked you the
torture.
same question from the Bible, you were reluctant to answer, and you still are.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
After you answer this question, do you condemn or condone the killing of babies
But it's the
in
same
the Bible?
part. It's the same
Okay,
thing.
go on.
It's the same
If
thing.
it's the same thing,
so
go on.
if I become a Muslim,
Yeah.
okay, and then I have my child, and my child doesn't want to believe in the Muslim faith, okay,
Yes.
turns his back on me,
Yeah.
God.
God will kill him. In fact, there are many atheists who disbelieve in Muslims who have left Islam, and they are still breathing and eating
No,
and
I asked
living a life.
on judgment day, so come judge.
Oh, you're talking about the judgment day. Of course, on the judgment day, everyone, not children, by the way. Again, the ball is still very much.
Yeah, it
okay,
is, it is. I'm
because
gonna answer you.
because
We're coming to
in
that.
Islam we believe that children do not go to hellfire, because on the day of judgment Allah will not be unjust to anyone. Now, children, specifically infants. You know how old is an infant?
How old is an infant? What, under 5 is it?
Under
or
2.
2, wow.
2 and under is an infant. So if you were traveling and you had children under 2, you will have to pay a different airfare.
That's right.
Yes, so your infant fare is different.
I should know that because my little
Exactly,
ones
yeah.
are-
So that's why it's called an infant fare. And that's why we treat infantly not the same way as an adult. Because obviously there's a difference between the two. So
what
I
would
wouldn't
happen-
question an
so
infant.
What would happen to a 2-year-old?
They will go to paradise.
Non-believing? Right.
Yes, Allah has destined paradise for them, because a child is not capable of distinguishing
And
between
from
right
my-
and wrong.
Yeah, and from my
at that
study, so answer you then. So from my
Do you condemn the killing of infants?
no, so I'm going to answer you
From the Bible, yeah.
So from my studies of the scriptures, I believe that we have a God, which is our, well, we won't go there, but God is a just God, so there is no torture. So if there's an infant that dies, they're asleep. They're asleep. So when a church...
What do you mean they're asleep?
Okay, so Scdawah to Scdawah.
I don't know you have read the Bible. In the Bible, in 1 Samuel 15,
Awake.
wait, in 1 Samuel 15:3, in fact, they were told to torture every